This Amber Heard.
You're the most in the whole world. If you weren't the most magnetic, shiny, beautiful, interesting, dynamic person I had ever met in my life.
This is also Amber Heard.
Boss baby!
Because you start.
Which one of these two is the real one? In this video we will learn about the love bombing manipulation technique and how Amber Heard used it to seduce Johnny Depp to marry her and control him throughout their relationship. In case you're not familiar with the case, I will try to provide you with some context. The couple started dating in 2012. Married in 2015, in May of 2016, Amber Heard filed for divorce from Johnny Depp and followed it a week later by filing for a restraining order on the basis of domestic violence. The couple reached a settlement on the basis that she won't defame him again. In December 2018, Heard writes an op-ed for the Washington Post about her experience with abuse and her decision to speak out. She had never mentioned Depp's name. However, in March 2019, Depp files a $50 million defamation lawsuit against Heard over her statements. In the last months, a large portion of evidence from statements of witnesses to actual audio tapes came up, which point out to Heard being the actual abuser. Now, before we discuss this any further, we will talk more about the actual technique. While the love bombing technique was first introduced in relation to cults and how to convert potential members, it is especially common in abusive narcissistic relationships like the marriage of Amber and Johnny Depp. Any narcissistic relationship cycle goes through 3 stages. Stage number 1. Idealization. The idealization phase, or the love bombing phase, the predator would smother the target with praise of their talents, interests, and qualities. They would give them gifts they've always wanted, vacations to their favorite places. They will provide them with the vision and promises of a great future together. They will make you feel like the most special person. And just when you get addicted to that and you feel safe, you grow comfortable. A certain rhythm settles in and the devaluation phase starts. The love bombing phase usually lasts for a couple of months. Keep in mind, the perfect time to use love bombing is when the person has experienced a sense of loss, such as going through a divorce or losing a job, or is suffering from low self-esteem. Phase number 2. Devaluation. The abuser or narcissist starts showing their real face. This is when the insults start, the put-downs, the gaslighting, the lack of emotional or physical intimacy, withdrawing affection, seductive withholding, inexplicably disappearing from contact or blaming the target for their narcissistic issues. Through projection, of course. Phase number 3 is the last one, where the person with narcissism may decide that the target has lost his or her edge in glamour and is no longer the ideal partner to fluff their ego and provide them with narcissistic supply. Here the narcissist merely disappears through ghosting the other person or planning their abandonment through engaging in emotional abuse. Now let's go to Johnny and Amber. Function number 1. Love bombing as a marrying technique. The following are statements from Kate James, Amber Heard's personal assistant from 2012 through 2015. Kate said, "When I first visited Johnny's home, I couldn't believe how similar it was to what Amber was in the process of trying to create. It was almost identical. She went on and had Laura purchase an old-fashioned typewriter after she saw that Johnny had one. She threw away all paperback books and began curating an extensive collection of first edition hardcover books, which I believe Johnny purchased for her at great expense. I found all this behavior to be quite bizarre. When I first met Amber, her clothing style was what I would call preppy. Very soon afterwards, that's also drastically changed, almost overnight, as she tried to morph into a bohemian way of dressing, wearing more and more silver jewelry, eventually adding a repertoire of hats which also appeared to me to be mimicking Johnny's style. Here Amber basically showed extreme interest in the things Johnny did to hint at how compatible the couple is. She read books he liked to show off her knowledge later. She decorated and recreated her home and clothing style in accordance to Depp's bohemian taste. Amber Heard basically mirrored him and almost morphed into him. Next is Amber Heard's love bombing from Depp's own statements. In one of his witness statements filed as a part of his libel case against the Sun's publisher, Mr. Depp said in reference to her, "She was then extremely friendly to me and keen to tell me all about the breakup with her ex that she had recently gone through, basically trying to create rapport since he'd just been through a divorce himself as well. It was not until much later that I understood that she had an agenda. Namely to get married to me in order to progress her own career, or to benefit financially. And she knew how to bring it about. For example, at the time, she repeatedly told me how much she admired my films. However, later on, in our relationship, she admitted that she had never seen any of my film. She was beautiful, seemingly incredibly interested in me and my work, and I fell for it. She bombed me with what appeared to be love." The last statement showcases how he has educated himself on the subject, maybe through discussing things with his therapist or attorneys. Function number 2. Love bombing as a distraction technique. So the following audio was recorded by the two as their way of reflecting on their conversations later on and working things out. Throughout the recording, Amber uses many techniques to justify her abusing Johnny by accusing him of leaving every time a fight starts. Something that would be considered a wise decision is specifically that you don't want to hit back someone you care about.
Let me hear me the recordings. Just text them to me.
I don't know how else to say I will to you. I haven't because we have not been well. We have not been good. When I move out, if I move out, then you'll have them and you can relish them. You won't like it, what you hear. Won't make you happy. But you'll hear what I'm telling you. That was after Toronto.
Yeah, that's when we came back here.
I know where we
Toronto,
were.
Boston, here.
I know where we were. We've been on the road basically since Australia, and I have been at your side, and I have not been filming a movie.
Well, we were on our honeymoon. I hope you were at my side.
I'm not talking about just a honeymoon, now am I? I'm talking about many months. And was it all the honeymoon? No. I have been at your side throughout it all. You said, why did you come to Rio? And I answered you. I would love for it to be better. I have no consistency, no safety, no security. The relationship is something you don't fight for, you don't stand up for, you always run from when it's tough. I'm telling you, I need more. We didn't say vows. You didn't make them exactly in the same, in that way, you know, but now is the time. I need to know if you're going to be there. I want promises. I told you that at the beginning of this conversation. I need promises you're going to be there.
Here, he basically asking her to send him some tapes they recorded together while she was in an abusive state, but she keeps denying him. She uses love bombing to distract from the request by stating that she has been there for him and that she's trying not to make things worse. Keep an ear on how her tone and pace shifts from anger and blame to love to anger and blame. Function number 3. Love bombing as a rehooking technique. Love bombing isn't only about lowering the person's resistance, but also to hook them back again when they are losing interest, standing up to themselves, or backing away from the abuse. The next clip, Amber complains how Johnny leaves after she starts physical fights. She plays the victim, claiming that she is the bigger person, and tries to save the relationship every time. Johnny here questions why she's still with him, and once she senses that he is pushing back, notice how she love bombs him to keep him chained. Once he is calm, she continues the abuse by blaming him for leaving again.
You're never the one to do it. One of us is, and I'm the one to do it every time. It means I'm the bigger person every time. It means I have to be the strong one. It means every time I have to fight for our relationship, and you get to be lazy. You get to be cowardly. I don't know what it is.
What are you here for? What do you need me for?
Once again, I am fighting for the relationship.
With a guy that you don't trust or like? Why?
I did not say I didn't like you. I love you. You're my favorite person in the world.
I don't see how
I remember what I said at the beginning. I'm sorry you feel like you can't imagine it. But I said this to you at the beginning of this conversation. I said, you're my favorite person in the whole world. If you weren't the most magnetic, shiny, beautiful, interesting, dynamic person I had ever met in my life, it would be so easy to walk away from this bratty thing that you do.
The next audio clip, Amber admits that she did hit Johnny, but denies that she punched him. And then she belittles him by calling him a baby. He calls her out on instigating things, and then she changes her tactics by love bombing him again and complimenting him on being admirable.
You're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are your toes?
What am I supposed to do? Do this?
How are your toes?
I'm not sitting here about it, am I? You are.
Oh,
that's the difference between me and you. You're a baby.
Because you start physical fights?
Such a baby!
Because you start physical fights?
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did, so I had to get the out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You are admirable. Every single time. What's your excuse? When there's not a physical fight, then what's the excuse there? You're still being admirable, right? Just by running away?
Whenever the abused expresses they had enough, tries to create boundaries, or the abuser's guilt-tripping, belittling and other tactics don't work, the manipulators start showing verbal and physical displays of affection to confuse and control. And once the victim's guard down, they start building up the abuse slowly and slowly. Another way of doing this is using constant reminders of how good the couple, group, or gang are together, when clearly things aren't that way at all. Remember, manipulators will do and say whatever it takes to lure you back into their control. Other ways of being love-bombed might include lavishing you with compliments, taking over much of your time and disguising it as a desire to spend as much time as possible with you, when the general goal is to isolate you from your friends and families, leaving considerate love notes everywhere, disguising the love bombing as a love at first sight, and finally bombarding you with phone calls and texts. Why choose Johnny Depp? Why love bombers do what they do? Well, individuals who display narcissistic tendencies like Heard might enjoy being appreciated, but it's not enough. Their subject of interest have to display some sort of high value. They might be a successful individual whose wife cheating on him, a famous celebrity with substance abuse, or a renowned genius with self-esteem issues. The target must be worthy for the chase to be valid and the narcissistic supply to be fulfilling. From health, celebrity, power, beauty, talent, or genius. Love bombing is a means to boosting their own ego while practicing control of another person. It's their way of getting narcissistic supply, getting overall loss, or moving from the last unsatisfying conquest. Now you might be asking yourself, how can I see it coming? The difference between love bombing and genuine forms of admiration and interest is intent. Love bombing is focused, repetitive, and planned. This is why it's important to go slow in dating. Healthy intimacy isn't a product of speed, but rather the quality of interactions and genuine rapport. Be aware of premature promises. Ask yourself, can you express your boundaries, or are you worried the other person might get upset or leave? Be aware of how people discuss their previous relationships. Are they more likely to blame or praise others? People reveal things about themselves consciously and unconsciously, so pay attention if they admit to serious shortcomings such as cheating, criminal behaviors, abuse, commitment issues, or not hitting the like button. If you are interested in learning more about these types of tactics, make sure to watch the videos. See you guys in the next video.